My name is Molly Ott-Ambler, and I'm the Director of Impressionist, Modern, American, and European Art for Bonhams in New York City. I'm thrilled to be able to introduce you today to this very beautiful Pablo Picasso portrait, Femme, béret, mauve, painted in 1937. Who was Marie-Thérèse Walter? Well, Picasso met her in 1927, and she was a young girl walking the streets of Paris with her mother when Picasso spotted her and fell instantly in love. He followed Marie-Thérèse and begged her mother to allow that she become a model, which she did, and the feverish nature of Picasso's output was truly incredible. This painting was created about 10 years into their relationship. By this time, Picasso had moved Marie-Thérèse out to a suburban home about 25 miles outside of Paris. He visited her there every weekend, as well as their 18-month-old daughter, Maya. Picasso really felt that Marie-Thérèse exemplified his need for tranquility, his love for family life, and a sense of real calm and beauty to the artist. When he met her, he was deeply consumed by his strong sexual desire for her. She's a paragon of enormous physical beauty to the artist, and that's a theme, of course, that runs through all of the works he painted of her. That relationship between Picasso and a model ultimately developed over time into being lovers, and she really became probably his most famous muse across the entirety of his more than 70-year painting career. You see Picasso's incredible use of pigment to create this very strong visual reminder of Marie-Thérèse's famous profile. It's an image he used again and again to let us know that he was thinking about his great muse of the 1930s. In addition, there is a very charming use of the back of the brush, which he uses to incise the golden tones of her beautiful hair. And then, of course, the title of the painting, which refers to the little cloth béret, so famous in France, which she wears here. And what you have is an interesting layering of pigment, the wonderful deep pink color and the dark purple that sits on top and creates an incredible glossy textured effect on the surface of the canvas. One of my favorite elements is the blush of color on her cheek, and it presents as a very shiny textural surface, making it something of an abstract element on the surface of this painting. When he shows a high sort of point of color on her cheeks, he is lending the sense that perhaps she's in the blush of a sort of post-coital encounter or is feeling a great deal of kind of sexual energy and emotion. So in thinking about how he has costumed Marie-Thérèse in this image, you have here not just this beautiful, very multi-layered purple beret, but you also have the fur collar. And those two elements were actually something of props that Picasso used again in painting another of his great muses, Dora Maar. He had met Dora Maar in 1936, and they began a very fractious, argumentative, passionate relationship, almost on the status of two equals who would fight about art making. He liked to play his women off of each other, and he didn't mind being caught. So this presents an interesting conundrum, and we can be reminded of it in this painting by the clothing that's worn by our sitter, because he would go back and forth between the two women, painting them and choosing to place them in the same clothing. Then he would show each woman the portraits of the other and let them draw the conclusion that another woman had in fact entered his life. What strikes you as a viewer when you stand with this work is, of course, the beauty of the subject matter, but also how brightly colored the canvas is. So many tones have been shown right next to one another, the brilliant glazing of her face, and all the different blues and greens that make up the outline of Marie-Thérèse is an absolute tour de force of painting skill. Picasso was known to work quickly and without sketches, but his innate sense of how to build a composition was truly incredible. So where has this amazing painting been held all these years? We know from the publication by David Douglas Duncan, entitled Picasso's Picassos, that this work was among a small and special treasure trove of works that Picasso held on to for the course of his whole life. After the artist passed away, the painting entered his succession and was ultimately sold by Jan Crugier. Jan Crugier was the art dealer based in Switzerland who was closest to Picasso in the later years of his life. By 1984, the work was with Herschel and Adler Modern, the gallery in New York City, and it was purchased there by the distinguished American family who holds the work today. So, for 37 years, this painting has been out of the public eye, never once exhibited, never sold. This makes it an extraordinary gem that has just come back to light in time for our auction on May the 13th. And we hope to have the chance to welcome you to our galleries to view the work firsthand.